welcome to the Dress Up Mom. It's haircut day. Yay! I love haircut day. And today I'm going to take you along to meet my stylist, Christina, and spruce up my shag with these little baby bangs. But first, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you are a regular viewer and subscriber, I absolutely love you. Thank you so much. If you are new to the channel and you like what you're seeing, please subscribe. It's just a button here. It's free. It means the world to me. We are also on all the social media outlets, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at The Dress Up Mom, hashtag The Dress Up Mom, and you can check us out there too. It's been about 6 weeks since my last haircut, and it's definitely time to go in and get things fixed up here. And I thought I would take you along. I am currently wearing sort of this modern shag, if you will. I grew out a pixie first to a bob, and then from a bob, now I'm going to this a little bit longer shag. And I'm going to go in and have it kind of fixed up today. It's finally long enough to where I think it's starting to look like a shag. And I'm very curious and interested to see what Christina's going to do to it next. I like the little bangs because the way that I wear it, it's completely natural. I don't do anything to it. And the little bangs dry kind of nicely for me. I wore a shag in the 70s. I wore a shag in the 90s, and here I am wearing it again. And I understand it's one of the top haircuts now for 2019. So I would say this is now a classic cut added to things like a pixie and a bob. So a shag, I think, is kind of here to stay. Of course, every decade adds some sort of a modern twist to it. So I'm curious to talk to Christina about sort of what that is here for 2019, and when you're getting a shag, what you might ask for to make sure that it's a little bit more current than maybe what it used to be like, you know, decades ago. I've liked it because it's a little bit choppier, it's a little bit edgier, and again, I really love that I can just let it naturally dry. I have really good hair for a shag, so I need to kind of thin it out a little bit actually to do it properly. I absolutely adore my hairstylist, Christina. I have been going to her for like almost 20 years. I don't want to age her, but I found her when she was actually in beauty school. She is the sister of someone I worked with. I loved her sister's hair. She told me that it was her sister who was in beauty school that was cutting it, and I have been following and working with Christina ever since. I consider her to be a hair artist. She now knows my hair really well, and she always finds a way to keep me current and maintainable. She knows what I will and won't do for, you know, my prep for hair, which a lot of is a don't do with my hot yoga. Without further ado, let's head out to my haircut, meet Christina, and get this shag taken care of. She is, Christina. I was telling you about her, one of my faves. I always love coming here. And we are getting my shag today. So I thought that you could tell people about sort of what is new about the shags now in the sort of more modern era, if you will. And then also what somebody should talk to their stylist about if they're thinking about getting one.
Okay. Yeah, well, a couple different things. The shag has been around since we all know, beginning of time probably, and every decade has reinvented it somehow. And it's been more popular than others. You know, the 80s kind of had a shag time, and obviously
I wore one in the 70s, the 90s.
And the 70s they were feathered, the 80s were permed, the 90s were a bit more of a mullet-ish, I think, kind of thing.
Actually, I think I've had one every decade.
Hey, there we go. See, it's reinvented itself. So now we're doing the modern, you know, the 2019 mullet. I say mullet. Shag mullet. It's, you know, it's something that it has more texture to it, but there's some key pieces that we've kept that we want to keep and we want to hold on to that in the past some shapes have lost.
Okay.
So the thing that modernized a lot is keeping this front piece, this angle. We tend to call this a corner. So something that you want to talk to your stylist about and make sure that you're on the same page with is when they do go and start to layer up your hair, you want to make sure they keep enough strength in this corner piece to give it that shape. Otherwise, you have a tendency to start getting the layers that start going shorter to longer in the back, and that is where our mullet starts happening.
Okay.
So to avoid that, we want to keep the structure in the front.
And then also, is there something about like where you start layering or where not? I remember you talked to me, I have to be careful because of this section, right, on me?
Yes, your hair loves to get volume up at the top, and a lot of people have that. A lot of it is if you have any wave or curl in your hair, your hair obviously is coming out from the root. It can only go somewhere. It can only travel so far, obviously. And then with the curl patterns, it just loves to do this fun little shelf here. So for Rika especially, I pay attention to her higher layers a lot more. In my opinion, and everybody is different, but the layers really are dependent on how long your length is overall in your shag. This style, this cut could be translated into a longer style. Mm-hmm. Everything is basically just downshifted. Again, some things are tweaked when the length is longer, but I like keeping the layers consistent. I'm sure everyone has seen that one shag haircut that's just tragic and was overcut, and they have 5 little hairs down here, and they're like, look at your long hair, and it's not really, and it's just sad. We always want to avoid that. Yeah. So that's where I come into play and go, I want to look at the layers, I want to make sure there's enough movement, but that it's going to work with the whole haircut.
Right.
And the great thing about shags are the fringe is just, you literally can go anywhere. I mean, you can do something short. Yeah, you can do kind of a Bridget Bardot kind of thing. That's super popular coming back right now. The long kind of curtain swoopy bangs.
Okay.
There's so many different ways. You don't even have to have a fringe if you don't want to. You can start your layers longer, and you can talk to your stylist about something that would frame your face more, but it doesn't have to be a fringe.
Got it. And is it a style that works for sort of all kinds of hair?
It can. It works better if you have medium to thicker textured hair. I would not recommend a shag haircut for somebody with fine hair.
Okay.
There's a version of that. You can use it as an inspiration, I'd say, if you had finer hair, but I get nervous. I would get worried that it would look overly textured and it would end up making the hair look damaged and
even thinner, maybe.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but for my thick hair,
Rika, layers are key.
Yeah, I love it. And I was saying, I grew out a pixie to a bob and now this, and I kind of like keeping it shorter, but
we've had so much fun with all your different styles.
Well, we're going to just go and get started. What are we going to do today? Anything different, or just kind of shape it up a little?
We're definitely going to shape it up. Whenever I see Rika, a little. Every appointment with Rika, I always like to just check out her hair and see what's happening. That's a huge part of it. The hair is always different every time. You can never really kind of expect what's going to happen. So I like to see what's happening. To me, I see some spots that have weight in them. Yes. I like to go through and pick through that, kind of get in there. It's really just fine-tuning things. You're liking the overall shape, you're liking the length.
Yeah,
we keep growing until we get to a point where maybe something else will work, and so we do that. But yeah, I want to shape it up today. And of course, trim up your fringe. We love her fringe.
Yeah, I like that little short fringe. All right, here we go.
So here's a great example of what I was talking about before with that corner that really modernizes the shag that it never had before. You really want to leave this out, and you can leave as much disconnection or make it as connected as you'd like. I have a tendency to like to leave Rika's a little bit disconnected just because it gives a little bit more interest to them. But you want to make sure when you're coming down this angle that you sweep out, you don't come in.
love the new cut. I just love it. And the back, so you were saying, Christina, you were...
Yeah, you know, as the length gets longer, I'm really enjoying how her shape just keeps continually changing. So it's like every haircut, it kind of morphs into something different and fun and new. But I'm loving the separation that we're getting. And you're seeing all of this texture here where if you didn't have all this layering, you know, her hair would have a tendency to look really heavy and kind of round. Breaking that up and going in and releasing that weight and letting some air get through those layers and let it move around works great with her natural curl as well. If you have texture in your hair, anything, it doesn't have to be a curl, it can be even like just a wave. This is ideal for that.
Yeah, I love it. I just love everything about it and the bangs. So another great cut from you, as always. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I would love to know if anybody else is wearing a shag and rocking it and loving it. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have fun and dress it up a little.